Great Sunday, Mike. Happy birthday, Victoria. It's a big day. Fahrenheit 451. Down by the river. That's a video I did, I don't know, a couple months ago or something. I'll fire for an Embers Day video for the Embers Day playlist. And I've seen it a few times since I published it, and it came up just now. And I'm looking at it, and I went through the same thing I go through every time I watch it. Right there in the beginning, I talk about having started the fire with a book. Then I go on to talk about, but when I see that I started it with a book, every time I say, I'm very much against burning books. I really am. I try, even with things that I don't think that much of, I try to save them somehow, because there's something in there means something for someone. So me having started a fire with a book, it always makes me twinge a little bit. It's beyond crime. It's right there on the verge of sin, like when White Hunter, Black Heart, whatever, Clint Eastwood played Jonathan Houston, the director, in doing a movie in Africa and wanting to kill an elf, and he said to the guy who was sitting there with in the dark, when they're sitting there talking about it, the guy's like looking at the majesty of the elephants. They're sitting there in the dim, it seems, maybe just at dusk or something, maybe at twilight in the morning, twilight in the night. And the young guy it seems like, because he was plotting, he was talking about, he'd been hunting, that was his goal, was to get an elephant on this trip while making this movie. And he's just looking at him, he says, it seems like such a crime to kill such a beautiful creature. And there, Jonathan Houston, Angelica's father, famous for many movies in the 50s, 60s, somewhere in our 40s, I don't know, or the olden days to me. And he looks at him and he says, no, he says, it's not a crime, it's a sin. And there is a difference. If you move on to the level of sin, you can only look back at crime. Crime, that's judged by the people. A sin is when you step against something you personally know is wrong, but you just have to do it. And if you're gonna sin, you need to accept it. Otherwise, it'll tear you apart. Find a way to link it in with you're just average, everyday, good-mannered person. And you know what I find about people that are people with fine manners? They're the best liars. Yeah. Because if you can't stand somebody to see who you really are, you don't blow a snot rocket in the fucking woods because you're afraid somebody will think less of you. Well, that's who you are. If they weren't there, you were gonna do it. So, blow a snot rocket. Give somebody an idea who you really are, instead of hiding everything we already know about ourselves and each other, because we know them about ourselves. And nobody can be doing as well as you. So it felt like a crime, a sin. I felt like a crime every time I saw myself starting a fire with a book. But now I realize it isn't. It's a sin. And the thing is, it's a sin that I can justify. It's like that book that I started the fire with was one of these damn things. And having looked through them, I'm like, you know, sure, it's got things that other people might want to believe. But I've justified it by saying, I don't want to live. I don't want to. I will. But I don't want to live in a world with people who agree with this. And so there in Oklahoma, they're proposing something to, I think it's Oklahoma, to make it okay for parents to rat out the schools on the books they're fucking reading, teaching, or like I said, I didn't want you to do that. And they said, well, we're doing it anyway. And they've got an incentive. They're looking to give an incentive for parents who will fucking block out the books. So it happens to be, since I did that Fahrenheit 451 Down by the River video, they pull this shit off. They're getting ready to burn books. And I realized, oh, fuckers, it's exactly what I'm talking about. These people I don't want to live in a world with. If I decide that I don't want to live in a world with these people, I guess they've shown us it's up to us to burn their memories. The thing is, the people that are smarter, if all the books get burned, those dumb people are just going to dip right into a dumber reality, and the smarter people will rewrite them, and these will be the books that we have, are the books from the smart people. Now, are the smart people going to be morally apt or amorally inept? I don't know what that means, but it sounded good when I thought it. It's got a good ring to it. And not everything has to mean something. You wouldn't have time to think if I were saying something that meant something the whole damn time. You'd forget it all by the end. It's just too much. So I justify this now. It's a human trait, justification. We're the only animal that does it. I'm sure of that. Justification. I only heard him because I had to. Versus just, rah, you motherfucker. Yeah, some of the great apes might have, but not like us. But that's our fucking, our trick. That's the one we'll teach the rest of the animals, but it starts with us and we're perfecting it. Justification. I found a way to justify me starting a fire in Fahrenheit 451 down by the river with a book with this, after seeing that they're doing it too. Trying really hard. My book, my choice. I'm not going over to burn the books that the neighbor has. I'm burning those that I have that I don't agree with. And you can't make it against the law to burn a book, but you can't make it law to burn a book either. My book, my choice.